Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Under Further Review. In these segments, I'll be giving you a quick look at each team going into the 2013 season. I'll be talking about last season, the off-season, my favorite picks from the draft, player positions, and can they make the playoffs. Today on my board, we have the Green Bay Packers. And this is making me excited today because I get to do my team. Let's quickly look at what happened last year. They won the division for the second straight year, going 12-6. They made the playoff but got blown out in the second half against San Francisco, which wasn't fun to watch for me. Aaron Rodgers had another spectacular season, but running game crippled the offense, so there really wasn't much to play around with for the offense, really. The defense improved a lot, but did not show up during the big games, especially games like San Francisco in the playoffs. And Greg Jennings and Desmond Bishop are gone playing for the Vikings. Why do the Vikings always have to pick up ex-Green Bay players? Can you answer that for me, please? Because it's kind of annoying. The off-season. Well, lots of great things are happening this off-season, but I want to start out by saying my favorite Packer to watch during the years I was watching the Favre era and the beginning of the Rodgers era was Donald Driver, who the Packers ended up releasing, which made him retire as a Packer. He will go down for me as one of the favorite Packers ever watching to play the game, especially at the receiver position. It's going to be a little sad for me not being able to watch him anymore. So, aside from that, the defense once again was a huge priority this offseason. And of course, Ted Thompson will never do the free agency route, as the Packers are a draft and developed team, which is great. Keeps the team young, always with a fresh pair of legs and ready to go. Obviously, the defense last year was better than the year before, which ranked them at 11th, but they weren't that good in big games. I'm talking about the games against the Giants, San Francisco 49ers, and the Vikings, who just were rushing all over us. Playoffs were the worst, where they gave up 500 yards against the 49ers, ending their season miserably. So that won't cut it. McCarthy's trying to get that fixed. They also want to be a better running team. So Packers are gonna get a running game. So look out. If that happens, they're gonna be pretty deadly on offense. Also, we said goodbye to Greg Jennings, Desmond Bishop. Have fun in Minnesota, guys. My favorite picks from the draft. I think the Packers yet again had another phenomenal draft. My favorite picks obviously have to go to first-round pick Datone Jones from UCLA, who I actually got to meet, and get an autograph from him at the spring game at the Rose Bowl, which I got behind me right here. I don't know if you can see it, but oh, there it is, right there. I don't know if you can see it, but it's there, and I was pretty stoked. So this guy is a monster who has the speed to get to the QB. I thought they were going to plug him into maybe the linebackers and rotate Perry and Datone Jones with Matthews on the other side, but he's going to play on the defensive line with B.J. Raji and Pickett. So this guy, he fits exactly what the Packers need. I also liked other Bruin, Jonathan Franklin, who is just the jack of all trades. I mean, there's a reason why this man is the UCLA's all-time rushing leader. And so he's just quick. He works hard. I mean, he can catch the ball and makes big plays. So that's really good and what the Packers need to fit into this offense. Along with my other and last favorite draft pick, Eddie Lacy, who fell to them in a great spot. I think he can bring back the tough running game the Packers haven't seen in a long time. Power running backs are something I haven't seen in Green Bay for a while, so I'm very eager to see how this running back play will play out for them in this 2013 season. Positions. Quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is the best QB in the league. Period. And makes my Sundays very enjoyable to wake up to, knowing that I get to see the best QB play for my favorite team. I mean, the guy is just fun to watch, and he's being paid like he deserved also. So he's a smart QB and stays out of trouble on and off the field. There's nothing that you can really dislike about the guy other than the fact he doesn't play for your team, probably. Other than that, he had a 108 QB rating last year and threw for 4,295 yards with 39 touchdowns and only 8 picks. That's pretty darn good. The only thing I didn't like last year about his play was that he was getting sacked 51 times. And that is not going to happen anymore. Can't happen. So I'm just glad he's healthy. He's still healthy, enough to be playing with that many sacks on his name last year. So, and who will be the backup QB this year? I like the battle between B.J. Coleman and Graham Harrell. So one of those guys should be able to step up in the front in training camp and see who can back up Rodgers. Running backs: Eddie Lacy and Jonathan Franklin. One's a power back, the other is a finesse type of playmaking player. I can't help but like this 1-2 punch this year, along with the backups Djuan Harris, who's a little injured right now, and Alex Green and James Starks. I see nothing but strides of improvement here for this backfield, and I'm excited to see who can earn the top spot on the depth chart. Wide receivers. With Greg Jennings gone, I think the next guy to take over his role will be Randall Cobb. Cobb is just super dynamic, and he also racked in the most yards last year with 954 and 8 touchdowns. This will be his season to shine, so I expect big things from him. There also is James Jones, who racked in 14 touchdowns and 784 yards. And with Jordy Nelson, whose numbers slipped just a little bit, but still was productive. So I think this is a make it or break it year for Jermichael Finley at tight end, who needs to get back to his 2009 status. He needs to hope that the ball comes his way and that he catches it. More crucial than anything, he catches the ball, because I cannot stand this guy dropping any more passes and blaming Rodgers for it. Guy just needs to make plays. Other than that, I love the wide receivers in Green Bay. Offensive line. Well, this line is definitely not the best in the league. They gave up 51 sacks and didn't help the crappy running game. McCarthy is addressing it, and he moved his best linemen, which were on the right side, to the left side with Bulaga and Josh Sutton to play on the left side. TJ Lang will probably start at right guard, and all the other positions left will be up for grabs between Marshall Newhouse, Don Barclay, rookie David Bakhtiari, and Derek Sherrod. Also, Evan Dietrich Smith will take over at center. Whatever happens, this line needs to play better or there will be blood. Defensive line. E.J. Raji is a solid starter at nose, but everything else is kind of not good. I mean, there's not anybody that I can really name that can step up. So Dayton Jones was a really good pick and a good need to come out of the gate and try to help this defensive line, which I think he'll do. So Ryan Pickett will be playing on the other end of Jones, and he's aging, and no one else seems to be stepping up behind those two guys with Raji and Pickett. So I fear this is the weakest point in this defense right now. Linebackers. Well, Clay Matthews just signed a contract extension this year, and it's obvious why, because he's one of the league's best edge rushers, so he should have another big year. Nick Perry should be back healthy after losing him kind of midway during the season. He needs to stay healthy because he can create the double or triple teams away from Matthews, which will, help Matthews get more sacks eventually, So Nick Perry has the speed and he has the size, so I expect hopefully a healthy year out of Nick Perry. A.J. Hawk and Brad Jones will see a lot of playing time in the inside, and maybe Terrell Manning will jump in to help. I hope injuries just do not kill us this year. Secondary. I really, really like Casey Hayward, who came in to fill in for the defense when Charles Woodson went out, who actually seemed to make the defense better. He led the team with the 6 interceptions and was just making plays all over the field left and right. Balls down and tackles, he was pretty great. Packers also have starting caliber players in Tramon Williams, Sam Shields, and Devon House. Jerome McMillan and M.D. Jennings battle, I guess, for a safety position spot, along with Morgan Burnett, who seems to be ascending in this play. The secondary, for me, looks to be on the rise. Special teams. Mason Crosby. What the hell happened to you, man? You just had an awful season last year. Kicking 21 of 33 field goals is not great. That's not good. So he's going to be having competition this year with Cal kicker Giorgio Tavecchio. I'm saying that correctly, Tavecchio, in the training camp. So Crosby needs to get it together, or he might be under the boiling water, which could potentially take away his starting job at Green Bay. So that needs to get settled. Other than that, Tim Mathesay will be the punter, and we need to figure out who's going to be returning kicks and punts this year. I'm hoping that they can stick Randall Cobb, which they're saying they're not going to kind of do anymore because they probably want him healthy on the receiving side. But the guy can make plays if he's kick returning and punt returning, so it doesn't make sense for me to take him out of that. So I hope that they stick to Randall Cobb returning in punts and kicks. Can they make the playoffs? Of course they can make the playoffs, and here's why. Sure, we lost our leaders in Jennings, Driver, and Woodson, but let's face the facts. We have the best QB in the league in Aaron Rodgers. We have the best linebacker in the league in Clay Matthews, and probably those are the most two important pieces for your team. So, along with that, you have a defense that's on the rise, making huge improvements and getting ready for the Kaepernicks, the RG3s, the Russell Wilsons, with the read option offense blooming in the NFL. And they've made huge efforts into getting the running game back to help kickstart, a new thing in our offense. So I'm just feeling like this team is going in the right direction always, every year. They have dominated the division in the last 2 seasons, and I can't help feeling that the Packers can win the division again this year. Now, the biggest issue I have with this team is that they cannot get the monkey off their back and win the big games like against teams like 49ers, the Giants. Minnesota was also a problem last year, especially with the defense just not being able to stop AP. So, particularly the Giants and the 49ers and those are the 2 teams that really have our number, and they just know how to beat us. I don't know what it is, they just know how to do it. So I am asking, when are we going to be able to show up and beat these teams? We need to beat these teams. They cannot keep beating us like they do anymore. McCarthy wants this team physical, so I'm hoping that that's the direction the Packers can only go to beat these teams, because the Giants and the 49ers especially are very physical teams. Other than that, I think Rodgers will have another fantastic year, along with the aid of a good rushing attack that I haven't seen in a long time since, I was watching the days of Amon Green at running back. So that's going to be a huge improvement, I hope so. And on defense, it's going to get very dangerous with Matthews and Dayton Jones and Nick Perry all trying to go after the QB. These are 3 huge guys with speed getting after the quarterback. And that will kind of be a sight to behold. Hopefully they can all stay healthy and make this a fun year to watch. And with that, my football fans, ends my segment on the Green Bay Packers. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave any comments below, down there in the boxes. Subscribe to my page. Probably my next videos I'll be focusing on are the teams from the AFC West. Anyways, come back and try to check those out. I'll have those posted up as soon as possible. Anyways, see you later, football freaks, and I'll be back soon.